I'm currently the community manager at Pinocchio, but I'm not here to talk about that tonight. I'm here to talk about one of the experiences that actually led me on the path to taking that position. I'm trying to condense 6 months here into 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So it's really just a quick sort of scrapbook of experiences. So this is a photo taken by James Everett, who's taking photos now. It's of the location of a great battle that was fought in Wellington versus 5 other teams in other countries around the world. It was the climax, it was at the end of the Olympics. An unofficial Olympic sport was played out in 6 countries. San Francisco, Wellington, London, Salvador in South America, Tokyo and Beijing, and yes they are racing on the Beijing Great Wall of China. You probably don't know about all this, but essentially we raced simultaneously at the same time around the world, and we raced for bronze, silver and gold. Now it was all a big story. It started in March. 6 amnesiacs awoke in labyrinths around the world. They all spoke different languages. They all uploaded videos of themselves with tattoos in Esperanto saying "Find the lost ring." Players found these people. They helped them talk to each other. My first experience emailing a character was emailing Eli Hunt, who was an amateur historian. Getting an email back from a fictional character was very strange. Not as strange as Google chatting to fictional characters, twittering with them, instant messaging, forums, etc. This was quite an extraordinary experience for me. Eli Hunt led us to a website, which, if you imagine this, but spinning and moving constantly with dots on it. We had to find the coloured dot, work out where on the earth that was, and enter that name, that place name. When we did that, we got a code, which was sort of basically an ancient Greek navigational code to find a second location. When we found that second location, entered them both, we got a specific place in that city to find one of these pages. We had to then find someone in that city to go to that actual location, either a bar or a library, and find a page like this. There's a code on the bottom that allows everyone else in the world to download a PDF, okay, which is broken into various segments. Now these pages were found all around the world, 27 different locations. We had to find people. Some of these places there were players already there. A lot of the places we had to find people. I helped find people in Sydney, Bangalore, and Hong Kong. Now Hong Kong I want to talk about, because the person who found it in Hong Kong, they took a photo of it with their website, with their camera you're about to see, and then lost it. And now the people running the game put this back to the community. I thought we were going to need a CSI answer here, you know, like we'll unblurry the photo. But they wouldn't let us do that. And so I worked with a group of people, about 30 people online, and we basically took this image and we worked out that each section we'd get a different error message if we got it right. So we started doing all this kind of stuff. Think about 30 people around the world working simultaneously. After about 9 hours, we had everything but the last section. Someone working at a university created a program to have every combination for that last 4 digits. In 12 hours, we had a solution. Another experience. We had to create a way of communicating with the bad guys, okay? And we had to be able to send the messages. So we created a stenography method based on a Bacon cipher, Francis Bacon, using white space in the source code of websites. This is a still existing encoder and decoder. Now, the letter we sent them, we left in London at the place where we picked up one of these artifacts. This is a guy in San Francisco on a rooftop holding the letter we left in London. This blew me away when I saw this, something so intangible, suddenly there. And we were impacting the story significantly. This same guy, later on, I watched him live on that same rooftop be abducted by players and interrogated until he turned over to our side and provided us with more information. Watching that live, and I was also chatting with Twitter with other characters, fictional characters, about this happening, as if it was all real. Now, this is a labyrinth design on Wellington City, okay? On Google Maps, easy, fine. 27 again of these had to be done around the world. We had to create these giant things basically to synchronize the multiverse. It was all part of the mythology of the story. But we drew this for real using one of these, a track stick, which is a GPS device that we were sent by the people who ran the game, along with stickers and some temporary tattoos, so find the lost ring in Esperanto. This took about 3 hours, walking the streets of Wellington. We had to go in this pattern. It also tracks when you did it and how long it took you. Afterwards, we really needed a beer. Now, there was another labyrinth that was drawn in Wellington. We had to take a message that was left in Dutch. We had to interpret the message and then decode it. We had a location which was the old tattoo museum. We had to take a direction and then lay a labyrinth over the top of a certain size. In the middle would be a lost ring. There were 5 lost rings left around the world, 1 in each continent. The Australasian one was in Wellington at Pop-Up Gallery on Gusney Street. We had a password we had to give when we arrived at Pop-Up Gallery in order to collect the ring. No one had seen one of these rings before this. This was the first one that was found in the world of the 5. And the ring looked like this. On the inside is engraved Esperanto. On each side is a dot, which turned out to be Bow dot code, which dates back to World War II. It's made out of a single piece of sculpted metal. They were stunning. They were about this big. It got to sit on our mantelpiece for about 2 months before we had to send it back. But it was really cool, and basically, okay, lost sport. I touched on it at the beginning, the final race at the end. We trained for about 5 months. There's a group, some of us in the audience here. There was a team of about 16, 17 of us in the end. Someone was blindfolded in the centre of a labyrinth, which is not a maze, it says one way in, one way out. And the other people were walls. They stood on each side of the path and they hummed so they knew where to go. Bridie Lamb, our runner, was the first person in the world to run. She really ran, blindfolded. And this is what teams all around the world trained, and we competed against each other in an unofficial Olympic sport. 3 circuit size, small size, 7 circuit size, big size. It all led to the finals, which I spoke about at the beginning. This is our team. We won bronze in the small size and gold in the big size. So the unofficial Olympic sport won by Wellington. Well, thanks to Jane McGonigal, AKQA, the International Olympic Committee, and McDonald's who funded it. There's some more links at the top if you want to find more information, or you can come and talk to me after.